Hey House family, welcome to the House Training. My name is Trent Nethery and I'm one of the audiovisual coordinators. We're so glad that you've chosen to be a part of this team and we're looking forward to getting to know you. On this channel you'll find lots of training videos over various areas of service. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask your team leader. In this video, I'll be going over some light system basics. Let's get started. Today I'm going to be going over some basic concepts of DMX lighting. This is the system that we use at the house to perform our lighting shows. I'll go over the board itself, what types of things the board can do, and the basics of programming light shows. So first let's start with the board. Here on this side on the left we have our fixture group. These control our individual light fixtures which we have installed on the stage. Fixture number 1 is our corner lights, which at the moment are installed in our drum cage. The center bar is the center palette board area of the stage. This is giving us our main color. It's a long bar LED light that's hung above and below that center palette. We have our back wall, which is 4 individual lights that are on the floor facing upwards against the back wall. We have our stage wash, which is in the corners above the projector screens. These face down onto the stage and provide color to the stage floor. Then we have our fader pack, which is essentially a power strip that is controlled via DMX. So our string lights that are on the back wall are plugged into our fader pack. And so when this channel is activated, we can control the brightness of anything that's plugged into the fader pack. This section right here is our scenes. I have them labeled red, green, blue, magenta, cyan, white, and yellow. This corresponds to bank 1, which we will talk about in just a minute. In this section we have our faders numbered 1 through 8. These control the individual channels of each fixture. In this section we have 2 additional faders. We'll mainly be paying attention to the fade time fader. Last, over here we have our program button, our record button, and our blackout button, which is essentially on and off for the board. We'll also be paying attention to this digital display right here, which will provide us the information that we need to know when programming. Alright, next we're going to start and look at this display. On this display we have labels on the bottom and on the sides. We have chase, scene, and bank. On the left side we have blackout, step, and program. Blackout and program are 2 that we'll be paying attention to. Notice we have a little light flashing next to blackout. This means that there are no lights turned on right now. All the lights are blacked out. If there's a light next to the program, that means we are in program mode. So right now we're only in blackout. We're not in program mode. This display is showing 101. This is not 101, but it's scene 1, bank 1. So it's displaying 101. If I were to go to bank 2, it would display scene 1, bank 2. That brings me to this bank selector over here. If I press the top button, it'll increase the bank. Banks are essentially folders. So each folder contains 8 light scenes. So bank 10, as shown here, will contain scenes 1 through 8. If I go to bank 11, that's an additional 1 through 8. So there's 30 banks, so you can have 30 banks each with 8 scenes. Bank 1 is pre-programmed. We don't ever record over bank 1. Bank 1 is programmed as our basic colors. So if, for instance, we needed a quick show, or we didn't have time to program anything, we could flip over to bank 1, and then we have our basic colors to choose from. If I choose the red scene in bank 1 and click the blackout button, we see that our lights go to red. If I choose green, green, blue, magenta, cyan, white, and yellow. And that's bank 1. So as you can see, as I'm changing the colors, our scenes are changing. So we have scene 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in bank 1. If I switch over to bank 2, It looks like there's something already programmed in there, so we have scenes 1 through 8 in bank 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 in bank 2. Once again, this number is not 802, but scene 8, bank 2. So now we're going to focus on programming. So in order to get into programming mode, you want to go over to the program button and press and hold for 3 seconds. Notice that I switch back to scene 1, bank 1. You have to pay attention to this because this is our default scene. So therefore, if I start programming now, I'm going to be programming scene 1, bank 1, which I mentioned before, we don't want to program over that because that will ruin our red, green, blue, magenta, cyan, white, and yellow scene, which we'll then have to do more work later. So I'm going to scroll to a bank that I know is blank and doesn't have any scenes programmed into it. I'm going to check and make sure that we don't have anything. Okay, there's not much going on in that one, so we'll use this. So once again, we need to check and make sure I'm in program mode. I'm editing scene 1 in bank 26. So I'm going to click scene 1, and I want to go ahead and adjust my center bar. So I'm going to click my center bar fixture. The center bar is only in channel 1, so I can adjust my channel 1 fader to find the color that I like. Alright, that looks good. I'm going to go over to back wall. Notice our back wall is green right now. Back wall doesn't use fader 1, so we can go ahead and put that guy down. See, that just adjusts speed and things like that. Fader 2 is my red channel, so I'm going to get rid of that and adjust my red. Fader 2 or 3 is going to be my green channel. Fader 4 is going to be my blue channel. So between those 3 colors, I can choose a color that I like. So I'm going to add a little red here, a little blue, something like that. Okay, then I'm going to deselect that so I'm not messing with it anymore. Stage wash. Stage wash is exactly the same as the back wall. Same faders. We don't use 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we'll go ahead and back those down. Get a little red and a little blue. Alright, something like that. Alright, I like that. Go ahead and click that off. Next, we're going to go to our fader pack. That's fixture 5. Fader pack is only channel 1 because all it is intensity, so we don't need 2, 3, and 4. Fader 1, if I go all the way up, high intensity. All the way down is off. I'm going to pick somewhere in the middle. That looks good. Next, we're going to look at our corners. These are at the moment in the drum cage. So this is a little different. Red is in channel 1. Green is in channel 2. And blue is channel 3. So I'm going to visit that. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now I want to make sure and deselect this. So I'm happy with this scene. I'm happy with scene 1. So now, how do I save that? First, I'm going to make sure that I'm still in the right scene. So scene 1, bank 26. So in bank 26, remember, we have 8 options. So this scene right now, I like it. I'm looking at my lights in real life, and they look good. I'm enjoying how this looks. So let's go ahead and record that. I'm going to hit record 1. Everything will flash. We'll get back into program mode. We now have scene 1 saved. If I go to scene 2, you can see it's different. Go back to scene 1. It's what we just did. It's recorded. We're ready to go. I can continue doing this process all the way down the line, all the way through scene 8. If I wanted another bank, I could go to bank 27, start 1 through 8. I can continue going up, building my show however I want to do. Alright, so I've set a few scenes. We have scenes 1 through 3 programmed. Notice we're still in program mode. We have our program light flashing. We're in scene 3, bank 26. So I can go through and I check and make sure that I like that. Okay, I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to press and hold the program button for 3 seconds again. Notice we're in blackout, scene 1, bank 1. So we're back to the beginning. This is the default setting for this board. So next what I want to do is I want to go ahead and navigate to bank 26 where I just programmed in. I want to select scene 1 and then hit the blackout button, and there we go. And now, there's my show. Now during the service or during the show, I can hit those in time with the music. Alright, the next thing we're going to look at is called fade time. This is the time between each light scene that we program. So here I'm looking at scene 2, bank 30, and I want to fade to scene 3 in bank 30. So how do I do that? So notice I'm outside of program mode. I don't want to be in program mode when I'm doing this, because fade time is only used during a show, not during programming. So I'm in scene 2, and I want to go ahead and fade to scene 3. So I'm going to increase my fade time just a little bit, and notice it gives you a readout of what that is. So this means 1.28 seconds. Now if I was going to scroll this all the way up, you're at 30 seconds. That's too long. So I'm going to do something like, about 2 seconds or so. Let's see here. Alright, there's 2 seconds. And then I'm going to go back to scene 2, and notice it gives me scene 2, bank 30. And I'm going to go ahead and fade to scene 3. And after 2 seconds, I'm in scene 3. The only problem with this, which is just because of the equipment that we use here at the house, we have these center bars. And the way the center bars work is they have about 8 channels with 8 different colors of lights. So if I was going to do this again, and I was, say for instance, you see as I'm fading from scene 3 to scene 1, it's flashing like crazy because it doesn't know how to go between colors. So if I was going to try to fade between scene 1 and scene 2, it's going to flash a lot because it's trying to figure out where the next color is. It's not in the order. So in order to fade, you must have the center bar be the same color. So if I was going to fade between 2 and 3, notice how my center bar remains red. The other lights can fade around the center bar, but the center bar has to remain red. Thanks for tuning in. We're so glad that you want to be a part of this team. We look forward to helping you grow as a leader in our church, and we're always looking for ways to improve our teams and our systems. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.